Huh? I mean, what? So this is what happens when you don't have a video planned. Your punishment is to watch Uglydolls the movie. It's your pal Joey.T. from the Cartoon.P. I'm giving you my vlog review of Uglydolls, and I will just say, I'm just gonna go straight into it. It's bad. This is a bad movie. I had a feeling it was going to be a bad movie, and I was not surprised when I actually saw this thing that it turned out exactly the way I thought it would, except even less. Let's actually talk about the film. So Uglydolls, if you're not familiar, is a toy line that was popular in the early 2000s. Believe it or not, I did some research and I found out it actually started off as a gag gift, and then I guess the people figured, why don't we actually make this into a toy line, and here we are. Now serving millions. At one point, Sony Pictures Animation was supposed to make this movie, but I guess it got shipped off to this other studio. And I think a lot of that probably had to do with the Sony hack that happened a couple of years ago. And in all reality, in all honesty, in all everything, it's a manufactured piece of crap. And the manufacturer's the big one too, because as far as the story goes, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. So it takes place in a toy factory, except we don't see any people operate this toy factory. I don't even know what the logistics of this toy factory is. And I guess when toys are rejected, they get shipped off into Ugly Land, or Uglyville, or Piece of Crapville. I don't know. Probably would be funny if it was called Piece of Crapville, but I guess it wouldn't stick to, the mythos of Uglydolls. And Blake Sheldon is the mayor. He plays a rabbit with one eye, and all the toys that are, ugly go into this place. And Kelly Clarkson, the main character, hot off of her first movie role since 2000s, actually around the birth of the Uglydolls, since Justin to Kelly is playing the main character, and she's so excited and chipper, and I think a little brain dead. There are a couple scenes in the film where she doesn't seem that bright. In fact, a lot of the characters in this movie seem to be like their one indication that they're all stupid, and she wants to leave. She's so happy with who she is that she just wants to get out and leave, which in itself already sounds very confusing. If it were like, I guess Nightmare Before Christmas is an odd comparison to make, but I guess she's sort of like Jack Skellington and she wants to explore a whole new world. God, even the movie makes me say cliched lines from other movies, because that's all it is. It's just stuff you've seen in other movies put together in a big bowl and not really done in a special way. Her side characters aren't anything special either, despite the fact that the movie really marketed itself on being proud of who you are, being proud of all your faults. I mean, as far as character goes, faults can add to character, and I don't think there really is a lot of character to these, other than that, hey, got some toys to sell, we got some music to sell, let's make this movie, let's make it happen. And that's where we're at. We're with a movie that, at the end of the day, was marketed, it was branded, it was supposed to happen to sell these toys. And it's very obvious. I mean, a lot of people complained a couple years ago when Sony Pictures made the Emoji Movie. That movie was, programmed literally in a box, and I think the same software was used to compute the best way possible to make a movie out of Kelly Clarkson, like my little 40-year-old virgin impression, put into this thing, and then here we are. Uglydolls the movie. I think I wouldn't be so upset if at least the movie attempted to have an interesting story. And the problem is that the plot goes all over the place. There really isn't any sort of sense of logic. Like, here's what I don't understand about the movie. So, it takes place in a factory. It's between being rejected and then going into the real world where you're shipped off and sold to a child. And for some reason, I just don't understand the logic behind being rejected, and then being put into this buffer place, because we find out that the Ugly Dolls don't go into the real world yet. They go into another world called Perfectionville, where there's this story about being a model and looking like the perfect thing. And for some reason, this world exists, but you ask yourself, why does it even exist? We've already had the toy manufacturers realize that they can't go on to the real world and they're going to get shipped off into rejection world, Uglyville. Why is there even this middle world where they have to train to be packaged? To me, it just doesn't make sense why we're stuck in this place. And we're stuck in this place for a majority of the film. We get our villain, who is a ripoff of Darla Dimple, which I cannot believe the movie actually is ripping off Cats Don't Dance. But Nick Jonas plays the Darla Dimple type character, who is eventually revealed. Should I really spoil this? Are you guys going to care if I spoil Ugly Dolls, the movie? I don't think so. So I'm going to go ahead and spoil Ugly Dolls, the movie. Are you ready? You ready to leave or skip ahead or whatever, but I'm going to go into these spoilers. But apparently, Nick Jonas is a model, a prototype, who can't leave Uglyville, which is kind of interesting. I'll give it some credit. It's actually interesting because he's been stuck in this toy factory for years, and he's like created this facade of like being able to go on into the real world, except he's not really stopping them. This world still exists. Did he make this world? Is it his concoction? I don't even know, to be honest. But like, I don't even know where I was going with this, other than that he was a Darla Dimple villain, and not even an interesting Darla Dimple villain. I mean, as far as like the actual design of the film, you could tell like I'm all over the place, but I really, like I said, I just got out of the theater. I just saw this thing. That's what the best way I could describe it is a thing. And I'll be real with you, it is exactly what I thought it would be, and less. As far as the designs go, I kind of knew that this movie was about selling the toys, and at the very least, I kind of wanted to buy the toy, which in itself, it kind of manipulated me, and I guess anybody who will watch this movie, to go get some Ugly Dolls. Which I guess is the movie's goal. If it achieves that, great, but I think you should at least try to be a good movie, which I don't even think they really tried to do. The story in itself, like I'm already talking about, is all over the place. And I think it doesn't really make sense. So if the movie's about celebrating imperfections, which is fine, but I think it made me think for a bit, because I think there's the message in movies where it's okay to celebrate your flaws, but you shouldn't not, well, that's a double negative, I don't know if that exists, but you shouldn't try not to do anything about it. You should still, attempt to be good. There should be some motivation in some ways, and that's the tricky tightrope this movie kind of walks. I don't even think it really attempted that. It's like, all right, if you're ugly, you're special, you're already cool. If you're not, you're not. That's just the way it is. I will say, as far as this movie goes, I think I probably said that a couple times in this vlog, but like I said, this is the one thing I hate about making these video vlogs, is like it's just unscripted. But like, as far as the movie goes, the songs aren't even interesting, and it's a straight up musical. I mean, you look at the cast: Kelly Clarkson, Pitbull, characters that don't really have any character anyways, are all singing their own musical numbers, and that's great. Could you at least attempt to make us interested in these characters? Because I really don't care. I mean, they're like I said before, do they really have character? I mean, other than they're kind of dumb. Like, there are a couple scenes in the movie where they kind of take things too literally, or like they misinterpret things, but they're kind of just like these dumb characters that are just gonna still go ahead and still give it a shot because they're just so happy-go-lucky, just so bold and doing the best they can to save themselves. Do they even want to save their town anymore? Is it about saving their town? Is it about getting sold and bought? I don't know. I don't. And at the end of the day, this is the type of film that I can't say is the worst animated film I've seen, but if it's about marketing itself, other than looking cute, you actually got to have a good story attached to it. This doesn't. That's all I got to say. Will I make a Cartoon Palooza video of it in the future? Maybe. Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen Uglydolls. Let me know in the comment section below, and also check out my Patreon, where you'll be able to get linked up to some pretty cool perks and fun stuff if you donate. I'm Joey Tedesco, and thanks for watching this vlog of that thing.